I thought it'd be fun today to go through my concert stubs and share them with you. Tell me if you went to some of these concerts or maybe your concert stub collection. Starting with the earliest, Ronnie James Dio, and this was December 27th, 1984, Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And we have Deep Purple. This was on the Perfect Strangers tour. And Iron Maiden and Twisted Sister. March 24th, 1985. Lover Boy. 1986. Here's the first time I saw Ozzy. And this is the show that Metallica opened up when Cliff Burton was still alive. 1986. AC/DC. 1986. And on the back, I actually wrote down the bands that opened, right? So Jafria opened up for Deep Purple. Dawkins opened up for Ronnie James Dio. The Hooters for Loverboy. Twisted Sister, we already got that one. Queensryche. Queensryche opened up for AC/DC. And, of course, we already mentioned Metallica. All right, next page. This is Headbangers Ball. That was pretty cool. Exodus and Halloween. All right. And we have Bogarts. This was in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Cro-Mags. Now, the Cro-Mags were one of Metallica's favorite bands back in the 80s, so that's how I learned about the Cro-Mags, reading an article. And let's see, Forbidden and Destruction were the opening acts. Meatloaf, this was a great show. I didn't become a Meatloaf fan until I saw this show. I'm telling you what, the stage presence in the stage show was great. No opening act. Another Bogarts. I went to Bogarts a lot that month. Exodus. And it looks like Ogden opened up for them. All right, what else? Bad Company. That was a good show. With special guest Kicks. Okay. Yep, I remember them. Don't Close Your Eyes. This one was the one that really bummed me out. So I was in the military at this time. This was in 1989, Louisville, Kentucky. And I hardly ever had to work really late when I was in the military. You know, it was really very routine. 5:30 you were done and you were off for the night. But I was on special duty and I bought 2 tickets to this show. And the only night I had to work super late, we got there and the concert was over. I mean, we got there at like 11 or 11:30, and I still got both tickets, still pristine condition, but did not get to see Metallica that night. MTV Live. And let's see, this was Not Was, Information Society, Milli Vanilli, believe it or not. And no, I did not know they were lip syncing, and I saw that live. Lisa and the Cult Jam and Tone Loc. That was pretty fun. Ozzy Osbourne, again. Huge fan of Ozzy and Black Sabbath. So, White Lion and Vixen opened up. This was a state fair, so I didn't have a ticket, so I just kind of made this up. But Kingdom Come and Warrant in 1989. Big Surf. As we all know, Big Surf is no longer with us. But I saw Junkyard, Dangerous Toys, and Faster Pussycat in 1989 at Big Surf. Flotsam and Jetsam. Used to hang out with Ed Carlson, the guitarist for Flotsam and Jetsam, back in the early 90s. And so I got to see them live a couple times. Here's 1991. Wrathchild American, Chris Poland, Pantera, and Sacred Reich. And if I remember right, Chris Poland, I think, was from Megadeth back in the day. All right. Clash of the Titans. This was 1991. Alice in Chains, Anthrax, Megadeth, and Slayer. Great show. Guns N' Roses. Let's see. Who opened up for Guns? Soundgarden. Cool. What else do we got here? Three Dog Night and Paul Revere and the Raiders and Sha Na Na. This was definitely before my time, but I still like this kind of music, and this was in 91. Ozzy again. So this was Ozzy and Infectious Grooves. So if you remember Mike Muir, he was the lead vocalist for Infectious Grooves and Suicidal Tendencies. And here we have Flotsam and Jetsam again. This show, I got this ticket for free from Ed Carlson, from the lead guitarist. And this was Be Strange, and I saw Rick Rubin, the famous producer. He was there at that show. And let's see, where he did Guns. Metallica, no opening act. This was great. This was America West Arena, 1992. And I'm telling you what, they played for 3 hours and 15 minutes at that show with no opening act. It was amazing. All right. Suicidal Tendencies, 1993, with Infectious Grooves, of course. So Mike Muir had to sing back to back. That could not have been an easy task. Metallica, once again. 1994, who opened up that night? Suicidal Tendencies and Candlebox. Polaris. So this is a local band from 1994, and one of my buddies, he was the guitarist in this band, and I believe they changed their name to Aftermath, if I remember right. This was really cool. At the Jar. You guys gotta remember the Jar, I'm sure. What else do we have here? Joe Satriani and Blue Oyster Cult at the State Fair. Again, didn't have a ticket stub for that one, so I made this. Megadeth. 1995. Who opened up? Looks like Flotsam and Jetsam and Korn. So that was the first time I saw Korn, was in 1995. And quite honestly, in 1995, I didn't know who Korn was back then. So that was the very first time I saw them. Corruption and the Electric Pickles. So the Electric Pickles was a local band to Phoenix, and Ed Carlson from Flotsam and Jetsam was in this band, and he remembered me. Here it is years later, like 4 or 5 years later. He still remembered me from 1991 and 1990 era, when I was kind of hanging out with the band a little bit and got their autographs and stuff. So I thought that was cool that he remembered me. Let's see here. Pantera and White Zombie. Oh man, great show. 1996. And here's Kiss. First time I ever saw Kiss. Excellent show. 1996. They had all their makeup. They did all the old songs. It was just like seeing Kiss in 1998 or 1978. It was so freaking cool. U-Fest. So U-Fest, 1996. We have Tonic, Life of Agony, The Hunger, Kicking Harold, and I think it says Expanding Man. Can barely read my writing. Brother Kane, Lucy's Fur Coat. They had one hit. Deftones. And this is the show. Okay, see, good I take notes. Riot broke out. Didn't get to see Typo Negative because Deftones were calling the crowd to come closer to the stage, and it caused a riot, and they had to break out the tear gas and everything. It was crazy. So, yeah, that was a memorable show. Ozfest 97. So we have Ozzy, Black Sabbath, Marilyn Manson, Pantera, Typo Negative, Fear Factory, Machine Head, Powerman 5000, Coal Chamber. Those are all amazing bands. Slow Burn, Drain STH, that was an all-female metal band. Downset, Neurosis, and Vision of Disorder. Very cool, very cool. All right, Boston. This was in 1997, and no opening act there. Motley Crue, 1997, and we have Moonshine and Head Pea for your opening act. Black Sabbath, this was an epic show right here. So this was dubbed New Year's Evil, and it was December 31st, 1998, Black Sabbath. And Soulfly, Pantera, Slayer, and Megadeth. All right, moving on. Voices of Metal, Vince Neil at Alice Cooperstown. This was a good show because it was so intimate, right? Vixen and Rat. Really enjoy Rat a lot. They're great live. Crew Fest 2002. That was in Hollywood. Let's see. Ozfest 2003. And let's see who came that year. Chevelle, Disturbed, Marilyn Manson, Korn, and Ozzy. All right. And yes, believe it or not, I saw Cher. I got these tickets for free, and it was up in the rafters somewhere in those VIP suites. Still enjoyed it. There's a few Cher songs I like. I'm not too afraid to admit that. All right, Howie Day. This was 2003. Toby Lightman and Matt Nathanson. Ozfest 2005. So who came to that show? Rob Zombie, Shadows Fall, In Flames, Mudvayne, Black Label Society, Iron Maiden, and Black Sabbath. Great show. Black Sabbath always puts on a great show. What else do we got here? REO Speedwagon and Styx. Great show. I remember that one. Steely Dan and Michael McDonald. So that was a really clean, laid-back sounding show. Just very relaxed. I remember just chilling on that show. Roger Waters does The Dark Side of the Moon. This was a good show. Heaven and Hell, which is, of course, is Black Sabbath, but with the Dio lineup, right? And Dio always puts on the best. He's a professional. Great show. And let's see who opened up for that show. It looks like Machine Head, Megadeth, and I put down Black Sabbath, the 1981 lineup. All right, next we have Typo Negative. This was 2007, obviously before Peter Steele died. And Otto's Daughter, Brand New Sin, and one of my favorites, Celtic Frost. Marilyn Manson and Slayer, 2007. Shoot, that was freaking cool. Marilyn Manson's one of my favorites. What else do we got here? At the Casino, NASCAR. This was a tribute band for Leonard Skinner, Freebird, and they were good. Some tribute bands are amazing, actually, because they try so hard to emulate the original that they end up sounding even better than the original, right? Joe Myers. This was at Celestial Audio. So my good friends Bill Goodman and Marcelino Lopez owned this store from like 1988 to like 2008 for like 20 years, right? And they had a couple of guests every now and then that played out in their parking lot. The Atomic Punks. So this is a really famous Van Halen tribute, right? And they're amazing. In the Flesh, a Pink Floyd tribute. Weathered, a Creed tribute. And BS, a AC/DC tribute for Bon Scott, of course. And then I saw Van Halen. So this was Van Halen in 2007, of course, before Eddie died. Here we have Ozzy again, and Rob Zombie this time instead of White Zombie. And let's see, that was it, just Rob Zombie and White Zombie. Iron Maiden, who opened up? Lauren Harris, so that would be Steve Harris's daughter, opened up for Iron Maiden. AC/DC, this one's from 2008. And The Answer was the opening act. Excuse me. Heart. Oh, Celebrity Theater. That was the first time I ever been to Celebrity Theater and got to see Heart. And even though this was in 2009, she had an amazing voice. I'm telling you, she can still sing. All right, Kiss again. So 2009, never disappoint. Kiss is always an amazing show, right? Buck Cherry opened up. I like a couple of their songs. Cycle Fest 2010. So this was Vince Neil solo, Rat, and George Thorogood. How cool is that, right? Triptychon. So here's another story. Celtic Frost, the main guy, Thomas Gabriel Warrior, started this band Triptychon. It's his third installment of a very heavy band. And I drove all the way down to Tucson to see this on my birthday, mind you. And the show was canceled because they had a CD release that night. I was really bummed. Did not get to see them. All right, turn the page. This is a Bob Seger tribute band, and they were good. Roger Waters does The Wall live, and I took my son to this one, and he was just instantly blown away. I was very happy to share that with him. Dust and Bones. This is a Guns N' Roses tribute. Sorry, just talking a lot now. Gary Newman. For those that don't know, I am a huge Gary Newman fan. I have a ridiculous amount of his albums. I think it's like 35 or 36 albums from him. Zebra, check this out. 2018, and this was in Tempe, so this is a very intimate show. Really, really enjoyed this show. Zeppelin USA, a Led Zeppelin tribute. They were very good. And what else do we got here? Ace Frehley with special guest Atomic Kings. Ace Frehley was good, you know. I enjoyed that show. What else do we got here? Cool 94.5. Oh, this was the 80s. Yes. Dramarama, Stacy Q, Missing Persons, Naked Eyes, Wang Chung, and A Flock of Seagulls. This was cool. I went to this show with Kenny Thompson. And Zebra. So this was just a couple months ago. The second time I've seen Zebra. I think I enjoyed the show a little more the first time because it was a more intimate experience. But this was great because I get to go backstage, right? I've never been backstage and got to get autographs and shake their hand and talk to them. This was a really cool experience. And me and Kenny got to do this together. And this is my most recent show. And man, if you stayed to the end, I know it's like over 19 minutes now. Thanks for watching. And, tell me about your concerts. Show me your concert stubs. Love to see it. Love to hear about it. Thanks.